Hello, Reds. Welcome back to another episode of Liverpool Latest. Just like the snow on the ground here in Myrtle Beach, keyword beach, South Carolina, and my home state of New Jersey, Liverpool's January transfer window has been increasingly cold. But hopefully, I have some news today that's going to warm it up in the waning hours of said transfer window because there's got to be some moves that got to get made here. First and foremost is the news of us potentially eyeing Sunderland's, I'm going to butcher this name, give me 1 second to read it, Lucharel Geertruida. Say that 5 times fast. So it seems like we're eyeing him for a possible loan in January. And if you kind of listen to the name, it sounds a little bit Dutch, doesn't it? Now, obviously, the media is going to roll with the, this is just another Arne Slot turning Liverpool from Scousers to Dutch argument. But I'm promising you that I am not trying to take that route. This is that would be a little bit too lazy, if you ask me. And that said, it seems like Geertruida actually played with Slot when he was the head manager at Feyenoord. Again, say that 5 times fast. But I think this could be a potentially decent move for a couple different reasons. Apparently, he is good in both the right back position, which we are currently having a little bit of lack of depth at, the center back position, which we have had a lack of depth all season with, and a defensive midfield if we need him as well. So those are 3 spots right there on defense that we can actually use Geertruida for, and we can hope that maybe an attempt to contact him in Sunderland could be made because it's pretty evident that Liverpool kind of went a very low risk, short term planning when it came to January, if they really made any moves in January at all. And this seems to be about as low risk as any. Also doesn't block any commitment for their summer plans, because it seems like these summer plans are where the long-term plans for the club are going to be. My question is, will Slot be in charge of the team for those plans that actually come to fruition? And that's a different story for a different time. And the other thing is, like, a loan with compensation seemingly ticks every box that Liverpool is trying to hit for this transfer window, which is no panic buying, no overpaying, and of course, no squad clogging, which is kind of hilarious because we don't really have many players playing to clog the squad to begin with because everybody's in the hospital. And this is exactly why the Denzel Dumfries, to some, felt a little bit too heavy. And I think that deal is more or less kind of fell through the cracks, it seems, which is a bit of a shame. And here's the thing. Sunderland hold all the leverage for this. They probably won't have a recall clause, which means they have to agree to everything Sunderland must agree to the fact that this loan has to be made in the first place. They'll want a loan fee refund, extra compensation, possibly, and maybe a replacement lined up. And I'm not sure if they've been planning that on their own accord or they're expecting us to provide something, but they're certainly going to be fighting for some compensation in regards to this potential move. And notice how I say potential, because every time I've talked about a player on loan or being signed in this window, it's always been just noise. This has probably been one of the more concrete stories and names that I see us moving for. The problem is we have about less than a day to do it. So let's get right to it, and hopefully I have some good news for you tomorrow when things, when things finally come to an end. But we'll just have to see. They certainly want someone that Slot trusts, which is why they're going for him in the first place. And there won't be any adaptation time for the difference of play in the Premier League, because clearly Sunderland have been promoted this season and have been doing quite well for themselves. If I'm being honest for themselves, if I'm being honest, so we'll have to see where we go with that. I am frankly skeptical, and I don't see much of this happening. But if it does, I'll be excited, at least a little bit. This would almost keep me excited if this was actually plausible. As everybody knows, I am not the biggest Georgi Mamardashvili fan. I find him to be, although he's trusted amongst the club, I don't find him to be all that trustworthy in net. And maybe it was just the fact that our defense was also crap when he was playing with us, playing for us in place of Allison. But I don't think he's Allison quality, and maybe I'm just been so used to Becker being in that position that it's hard for me to see anybody else outside of Kelleher. But Kelleher is no longer on the team, so apparently there has been talk of selling him to loan for, oh god, I'm going to butcher this too, Besiktas. It's got to be some sort of like this has got to be some sort of like Serbian league or whatever. But apparently, this is a very unlikely option because of everything I've talked about already. That he is trusted, he's settled. He's probably the only other senior level safety goalkeeper in net right now outside of Allison, if Allison was to be hurt for any reason. So if he is to leave, we are pretty much stuck with Freddie Woodman, who would be starting league games, which I'm not really sure if he is all that reliable in addition to Mamardashvili. So, So it could cause a very big red flag for us. So I would basically kind of rule this whole thing out. I would not be shocked if this is just it's just a very low probability thing happening. So I would kind of rule this out for January, probably even the summer, to be honest with you, because I think as long as Slot is still in play here, Mamardashvili will probably have a very solid position as number 2 on the team, whether I like it or not. But that is a different story for a different time. Once again, Liverpool have also been making contact with Camavinga in his camp. So let's just clarify what contact, quote unquote, actually means. We're not talking about any bids, negotiations, or agent talks or timelines. This is more likely just, intermediary checks, long-standing relationship touching points like, hey, how you been type shit, it seems like. And is a move even hypothetically possible in the future? Here's the problem with this. We got quite a few blockers that might prevent us from making this move. First and foremost, a $90 to $100 million fee is on the table here. We're also negotiating with Real Madrid, a hated rival of ours in the Champions League, and a rival that has also poached our player in Trent Alexander-Arnold and was rumored to have been trying to poach Ibu as well earlier in the season. He's also got a long contract, and Camavinga, it seems like his rotation minutes are increasing, not shrinking, which means that he is going to require a lot more playing time. And if we go back to Slot's comments a couple of episodes ago where he's trying to figure out how to get everybody to play, obviously someone's going to be disappointed. So is it a matter of signing a big name in hopes of getting some star power, or taking away minutes from someone that's been reliable for a good portion of the season already? So that is basically where the club finds himself. And clearly this is not the first time I have talked about this. It's a name that is very familiar to me. Clearly, if they want to sail, they don't, as in Madrid. It seems like that would have happened a while back ago. Camavinga doesn't seem to be pushing for any sort of change, and Liverpool can decide to just completely nuke their wage structure, and this is all obviously theoretical. So it's like the only way I could see any of this actually happening. So having contact with him is very plausible. As far as any move goes, absolutely fantasy. monitoring, not moving, is the word choice I would use for this particular subject. And of course, this kind of coincides a little bit with, and actually all of this kind of coincides a little bit with Slots. What's the word I'm looking for? Like idea of a January transfer window, whereas it's more of problem solving, where the summer is the real planning for what's to come in the for the team. He's not panicking, and certainly the club itself is not rushing to make any sort of drastic decisions. Otherwise, we would have signed Mark Gahey, Nico Schlotterbeck. Uh, Hell, we probably could make a deal for Geertruida right now if we wanted to, but it depends on if that wants to happen. So the whole philosophy, whether I agree with it or not, it seems like that is the story behind these last three stories and headlines that I've been reading through as of today. So, last but certainly not least, Dominic Szoboszlai had quite a bit to say in regards to his contract and staying at right back. I would like to read some of that with you, to be honest, and I'm not really, I don't really know how I feel about some of these quotes because I just I want things to happen, and I keep reading things online, and I have a problem, as sure as many of you do, where if I read something online, I do a lot of fantasy booking in my head, and when the fantasy booking does not come out to be reality, and it turns out to be, well, fantasy, that's the term, I become disappointed. So I am not trying to get myself caught up in the noise, but at the same time, some of the quotes I am reading from Dominic Szoboszlai are a little bit of a bummer for me as of right now, because it seems like there is no contract talks progressing at the moment, to be honest, and that is a direct quote from Dominic Szoboszlai himself. From now, from now on, it is not in my hands. It works this way. There is no progression, but if the right offer comes, then let's see. I am doing my job on the pitch. We will see in the future. It is always there and back and there. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, everyone will be happy at the end. Do I like it here? Of course, of course. I like the city. I like the club. I like playing with these guys. I love Anfield. I love the fans. Let's see what the future holds. But it's not on me. So, every day I hope that the news breaks of Dominic Szoboszlai dropping that he has signed a new contract, but it seems like right now that is unlikely, and it goes to show that a story I reported some time ago is clearly just that, just a random rumor story. What is more interesting for me to read was his position on playing right back, because as we all know, Dominic Szoboszlai is a natural midfielder. He plays very well in that position, clearly, because he's been stellar throughout the course of the season when he has played. Now, I believe he was also a very good right back. I think he played very well at the right back position, but clearly, I prefer Frimpong in that position. Unfortunately, Frimpong is currently injured, so we kind of have to wait and see what's happening there. This is some of the quotes that Dominic Szoboszlai had in regards to playing at the right back position. Not long term, not even medium term, to be honest, in my head. As I've said before, I'm a midfielder, and hopefully our right back is going to come back from injury and I can get back in the middle. But if the team needs me or the coach needs me there, I will play and try to give my best. But for now, Endo is ready to play. Also, Curtis Jones is ready to play there. So we have quite a few options now. I think midfielder is more for me than the right back. I am close to the goal. And I can be more dangerous. I feel from the right position, I am far from the goal, but I am doing everything for the team so we don't concede. That's the most important thing when you play defense, and also help up front with crosses and long balls wherever the team needs. So a lot to unpack there. I think his assumptions or his assessment is very fair. Although I like him at right back, I clearly understand where he's coming with when it comes to his philosophy and how he wants to play the game. I believe again that him playing at midfield is probably the best for everybody involved. He is a very very strong attacker, so and he's good with the press, and he's also great with free kicks as well. So especially ones closer to the goal. He's always a threat from that range. So it makes sense from a player perspective, or at least his perspective, why he wants to prefer to stay in midfield. And there are plenty of other players who can play in that position as of right now. Clearly, he's going to be a guy that does what he's told. Whether he agrees with it or not doesn't seem to matter as of right now, anyway. So as much as I like Szoboszlai at right back, I understand that his full strengths lie in midfield, which is where most of us, if not all of us, love him to begin with. I do believe that Endo is probably the next best option as of right now to play right back. Curtis Jones, I believe, is also probably could play right back, but I always prefer him more in the midfield, if I'm being 100% honest with you. So we'll just have to see what happens there. My only hope is, again, a contract is offered sooner rather than later, and hopefully we have more depth in those years to come if said contract is signed, so that way he doesn't have to worry about something like this playing at a different position where he doesn't feel as comfortable. So that is all for Liverpool Latest today. If you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you want to comment on anything I've spoken about, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I will try to do my best to reply to everything, as I'm using my own account so I don't get the notifications for comments, so I'll try to check them as frequently as I can. And subscribe to never miss an upload, because we upload damn near every single day here on Liverpool Latest. So remember, if you join the Liverpool Latest and Fan Arch family, know that you, my friend, will never walk alone. See you guys on the next one.